this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press on January 9, 2015. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspapers posted on public bulletin boards in the Township website.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Moore.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilwoman Lydecker.
Here.
Councilman Fosman.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Here.
Vice President DeYoung.
Here.
President Mumolo.
Here.
Thank you.
At this time, please turn off your cell phones or silence them, and please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to approve the minutes of February 17th, 2015 meeting. Can I motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Zapsik, second by Councilman Fosman.
Councilman Moore.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lydecker.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Abstain.
Vice President DeYoung.
Yes.
President Mumolo.
Yes. We have a presentation tonight. I'd like to ask the mayor and Carol Wolf from Homes Now to come up to the podium, please.
My name is Carol Wolf. I'm the president and founder of Dottie's House and Homes Now, and I'm here on behalf of Homes Now. This is my assistant, Casey Duffy. We're here on behalf of the Chambersbridge residents, which, as you know, provides housing for more than 200 low-income seniors, physically and intellectually disabled individuals. We've been open since 1999. I'm getting very old. And it is at 100% capacity at all times. Just a quick side note, we had a very frightening experience about a month ago. There was a fire in one of the apartments, and I want to commend the mayor and the council and Vice Business Administrator for their rapid response and assistance and support of all of our seniors, helping getting them placed, those who we had to evacuate. So thank you all for that. And on behalf of everyone, I'm here to present a check, my annual check to the township, $78,761,000. And to date, we have paid $862,533. And it's a pleasure to do it because this is a great place to live, and it's a great place to serve the populations who need it. And we couldn't do it without your help and all of you and the community at large, too. Thank you so much.
Woo! Go Carol!
Thank you for everything you do for our town and for the Chambersbridge residents with the low income and with the physical and mental disabilities of our seniors there. And the program you run there, obviously there's a need for that type of housing, and thank you for providing it to our citizens.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to call up John Hyfanis to make his presentation. Sure.
John Hyfanis, 37 North Jailers Clay Drive in Brick, a 12-year resident. I'm here to talk about three things tonight, very briefly. You can see my throat's giving out, so you dodged a bullet tonight. Green Fair, sustainable brick, and the pledge for the green team for that 2015. And the Green Fair is going to be held on April 18th at Brick Township High School from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The purpose of the Green Fair that we set up is to heighten awareness of environmental issues to parents, students, and the general public, to introduce sustainable lifestyle choices for the community, and to demonstrate how consumers can reduce their impact on the earth by selecting sustainable, eco-friendly products and services. We have a Green Fair Facebook page, which is on the sheet I handed out. We have email invitations to 145 exhibitors and nonprofits from our previous green fairs. We advertise on Brick TV 20, Township webpage, Communicator, Patch, Asbury Park Press. We have received support, Chamber of Commerce, you folks up here, we thank you for that. Environmental Commission, Shade Tree Commission, and yeah, that's it. Okay. We've also reached out to the Board of Education this year. We'd like them to participate as much as they can by encouraging students to participate using their imagination to complete projects for display at the fair. We could use your help, if it's available, to reach out to other organizations. I listed a few here that I think might be good. The League of Women Voters, churches, American Legion, VFW, Knights of Columbus. I reached out to the Elks, some member of the Elks already. Now, beyond Green Fair, we are going to look at some projects this year. We as a committee meet once a month, and all the bullets are listed here we have vetted. Ones I want to highlight to you, we'd like to produce a quarterly newsletter. We'd like to establish a Green Team website, and we're going to invite guest speakers and hold our meetings so the speakers can reach out to the public with eco-friendly ideas and presentations. Those are some of them. And last but not least, we achieved bronze certification for the township in November of this year, thanks to the help of the township administration and the town council. We qualified with 235 points. Only 150 were necessary. To qualify for silver, which is 350 points, we need 115 more. So one of our goals this year is working on getting more actions certified to reach that silver certification. Thanks for your time. Any questions? You have in your hand, oh, go ahead.
Mr. Hernandez, real quick, I know you said that you need another 150 points to achieve your...
115.
115? Oh.
Yes.
Is there anything that we can do with the township to partner with Sustainable Brick to help
Yes.
you guys get your status? Because it helps, of course, the
You
township.
partnered with us very well to reach 235. We have a list of about 20 different certification actions we can qualify for, we think. We get those together and find out what we need for your support, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
But those so far are extremely healthy. Tara and Michael have been very helpful in getting us through this situation.
Very good. Thank
Any
you.
other questions? So you have a exhibitor or vendor application form in your handout. You have a save the date. Any folks in the audience want a handout? I have some extras made for them too as well. So thanks again for your time and moving
The
forward.
mayor would like to.
I just want to thank you for all your hard work with the committee as a whole and getting us that Brown certification, because that was part of my 100-day plan to get us involved in there. And I know you guys were working on it before I was mayor, but thanks for all the hard work you did in the past year in order to achieve it.
Well, you're putting it on your list of to-dos was very helpful as well. It always helps to have a little push from wherever, right? Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we're going to start our budget presentations. I'd like to ask Alyssa Cummings, our engineer, to come up. Mr. Newman and Mr. Fowler will join you at the table.
Good evening, and thank you for your time and allowing a brief introduction of the division and addressing the items requested in the 2015 Division of Engineering operational budget. The primary functions of the Division of Engineering are to establish and maintain public infrastructure and to coordinate to coordinate private development within and adjacent to the township with the same infrastructure. Engineering handles many aspects of physical development of a property, from initial plan review to field inspections at the construction sites. Additionally, engineering is responsible for compliance and enforcement of DEP rules and regulations with respect to local development, including but not limited to the Coastal Area Facilities Review Act, freshwater wetlands regulations, stormwater management, flood hazard areas, dredging and sediment technology, and solid and hazardous waste. The township engineer is also the designated floodplain manager responsible for compliance with the rules and requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program, and were the stormwater coordinator as required by the NJDEP. There's also an enforcement aspect of the division that may issue violation notices and summonses to those found in violation of the Township's Code Section 168, Engineering Permits and Standards, and Section 196, Flood Damage Prevention, and Section 245, Subdivision and Land Development. Most of the day-to-day operations of the division involve interaction with the public, be it homeowners, business people, contractors, or licensed professionals. Our greatest efforts and goals moving into 2015 include advancing the Township's application into the community rating system for discounted flood insurance premiums, assisting residents who are still continuing to rebuild, elevate, and recover from Sandy, maximizing capital funds available to the greatest extent practical in order to complete necessary repairs and perform preventative maintenance on the Township's infrastructure, and to utilize our permit and project software to improve our efficiency and minimize delay. We currently employ 6 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and 1 seasonal employee. Our seasonal employee is enrolled in his 3rd year at NJIT and works through the summer and winter breaks. Engineering salary and wage budget for 2015 is $303,900, which is a 13.5% decrease from last year. This is a direct result of our efforts to appropriately charge escrow accounts and capital projects to offset our staffing costs. Our operating budget requested is $112,600, which is a 3.75% decrease. The decrease in engineering's operating budget is due to an evaluation of the actual cost of the various membership dues associated with the staff's licenses and certifications. Additionally, in 2014, there were startup costs associated with developing and training in-house staff that will not be necessary in the 2015 calendar year. The majority of the engineering operating budget requested is in line item 207, expert services. This is money that the department reserves to pay engineers, architects, or other professionals for services that cannot be capitalized, such as flood mapping appeals, ADA compliance consultation, or general traffic consultations. If these services are not required, the monies are not spent. Our overtime budget requested for 2015 is $14,000, which is a 2.9% increase from last year. While overtime is necessary due to the volume of construction being done in the township and the extension of Saturday office hours, the engineering staff has always done a great job in limiting the overtime hours worked to projects that can be charged directly for the associated costs, such as capital projects or inspections associated with developers' escrow accounts. Due to the division's ability to charge projects and collect permit application fees, the operating budget reflected herein will depict a decrease in salaries and reductions in operating costs. In comparison of the 2015 salaries and the 2014 operating budget, the 2015 overall budget requested represents a decrease of approximately $51,500, or 10.7%, being requested from the prior year, 2014. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to open any questions from the council. No questions. I'll open to public. Any questions for Alyssa Cummings, our township engineer? Seeing that, closed public, and I'd like to ask Mr. Fowler, our township planner.
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Mike Fowler. I'm the head of the Division of Land Use, and just want to run through some background about my division and what we do before I get into the particulars of the budget. The Division of Land Use consists of the Planning Board, Zoning Board, Zoning Office, GIS mapping, grant management, and general land use planning. The Code Enforcement Office had been moved from the Division of Inspections to the Land Use Division several years ago, and was moved back under the Division of Inspections last summer. Since Sandy, the focus on property maintenance has become more on the conditions of buildings than the condition of land, so being under the direction of Division of Inspections is a better fit and allows for improved coordination with staff. The Planning Board acts on development applications involving subdivision of land or site plans for permitted uses in the zones. Subdivisions generally involve residential uses, while site plans are generally for commercial uses. The board secretary processes applications to the board from beginning to end. Regarding the Zoning Board of Adjustment, they can act on applications also involving subdivision and site plans, same as the Planning Board, but for uses that are not permitted in a particular zone. You may have a commercial use in a residential zone or vice versa. They would go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. The Zoning Board also acts on variances from our land use code involving individual residential lots that are undersized or proposed structures that do not meet the height or location requirements, such as setbacks. If you're constructing a home on a lot that requires a front yard setback of 25 feet and you're proposing 20 feet, you would go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for that variance. You can't get that variance from the Planning Board. Due to a downturn in development applications for site plans and subdivisions in recent years, we eliminated one of the board secretary positions last year. One person is now secretary to both the Planning Board and the Zoning Board. The zoning office processes applications for building that may or may not have required a board approval. This is the zoning office as compared to the zoning board. Zoning applications can range from a request to build a 90-square-foot shed to the development of a major shopping center. The zoning officer looks for consistency with either a board approval or with the zoning code. The zoning officer spends also a good part of his day answering questions from the public, phone calls, emails, as most of us do, provides letters of determination, on zoning for undersized lots, for permitted uses, deals very much on a regular basis with realtors, appraisers, and professionals. GIS mapping, we have a GIS specialist who works closely with the MUA to keep the township's computer mapping current. He also makes the annual revisions to our tax map sheets, creates maps of various departments working most closely with mapping needs for land use and engineering. Regarding the planning section of the division, the planners serve as professionals to both the zoning board and planning board, providing reports and attending meetings. The planners manage the land use division, serve in various township committees, prepare master plans, redevelopment plans, the affordable housing plan, update the land use ordinance, manage and coordinate most township grants, deal regularly with the development community, and as the beginning of this year, have taken on an active role in the management and administration of the township CDBG program. In the coming year, the land use division will work hand in hand with the engineering division to ensure the township's participation in an NFIP community rating system program, where we hope to decrease flood insurance rates for the community in the near future. Alyssa had touched on the same item. And this is a very extensive exercise. The land use staff are also managing the 3 planning firms that were selected to prepare 11 reports and studies under the NJDCA Strategic Recovery Planning Report, Post-Sandy Planning Phase 2 project. You may recall that we completed the Phase 1 project and plan last year, which was a prerequisite to the Phase 2 Planning Sandy grants. These studies and plans include master plan revisions, ordinance updates and adoptions, 4 neighborhood planning studies relative to damage and recovery from Sandy and our most affected areas, repetitive loss analysis, flood hazard management plan, hazard mitigation plan. The county had done a hazard mitigation plan. We'll have our own township plan also by the end of this year. Green buildings and sustainability plan, and a capital improvement plan, which will be a 5-year plan. The capital improvement plan will cover, hopefully, projects that come out of the Phase 2 Sandy Planning Grant, plus our other general road projects and park improvement projects that we have on the capital. The grant is $450,000. It was, and I believe still is, the most funding any municipality received under the state program to date. We anticipate these plans will help us satisfy many of the work required activities and elements to meet the high CRS standards for acceptance in that program. We have also worked over the past 2 years to make rebuilding and recovery easier for our residents, adopted new height and setback ordinances, and will continue to reevaluate our processes as we recover. If we determine there's a problem area, and with one of our ordinances we're finding a lot of variance requests, we'll make recommendations for changes. The planning staff continues to work towards obtaining grant funding and implementing various projects. We received several $1 million in the past few years in grant funds to improve park facilities. Most recently, we received the final reimbursement payment of $1.5 million from the Green Acres Program for Traders Cove Park. We are working towards implementing the park and marina at Traders Cove with the building of a public bathroom facility with transient boater amenities, including showers and a laundry. Laundry, do you need a break? I could use one. Thanks. The planning staff is also prepared to work with any potential redevelopers with new concepts for the redevelopment of the former Food Town site in an effort to move that project forward in 2015. Regarding staff, we have 8 full-time employees and 1 seasonal. There are 11 planning board members and 9 zoning board members whose time and expenses are managed by division. Regarding salary and wages, the proposed salary and wage budget for the zoning board is $85,965, which is a 2.5% increase from 2014. The proposed planning board budget is decreasing by 71.4% from $70,000 to $20,000 thanks to the staffing adjustments made in 2014. As mentioned, we now have 1 secretary serving both boards. The land use budget, including zoning, mapping, and planning staff, decreased significantly from $524,755. This is a result of the restructuring of land use as well as decreased salary and wages. The budget decreased by 29.4%. Regarding the operating budget, the land use operating budget increased by $500, mostly as a result of attendance at required training seminars, dues, and increased printing supplies for maps as mapping demands grow with the Sandy planning grant studies and also the CRS prerequisites. There were moderate decreases in zoning board and planning board budgets. There were line items that weren't charged last year that were eliminated, and we reduced professional fees. Regarding overtime, the overtime budget increased from $8,000 to $16,000 to cover costs associated with the zoning officer's attendance at all zoning board meetings, covering of Saturday openings of the land use building and engineering divisions since Sandy, and occasional after-hours work. Last year's actual expenditure was $18,350.66. It should be noted that while large applications have decreased before the zoning board did experience a significant increase in applications in the past year for cases involving Sandy rebuilds on non-conforming lots. The board and staff scheduled special meetings to keep applications moving through the process in a reasonable amount of time. Regarding fees, which is the final part of the presentation, the zoning office issued 1,581 permits in 2014 and collected $59,870 in fees. Our fees are relatively low compared to surrounding communities. For zoning, we charge $30 for a shed and a pool permit, $50 for a house or for a shopping center. We've done some internal review of our fees and the impacts that would have in a moderate increase. We're prepared to work with administration and land use committee to present some of our ideas. We think that with moderate increase in our fees, we'll probably cover the cost of our zoning officer and most of the cost of the assistant zoning officer. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Any questions from the council?
I have a quick question. Mr. Fowler, you mentioned the zoning board was over busy, to say the least. Is the change in the variances that we made as the council, will that help lighten the load? I know a lot of it was because of Sandy structures and stuff like that. So they
Yes.
won't be as busy and won't need any special meetings? Okay.
Yeah, part of it was the height variances. I think we have that straight now.
Yeah.
And we haven't been getting any applications for height variances. And Alyssa earlier in the year had made some other changes in the ordinance that allowed for more flexibility in setbacks, which also helped.
Okay. How's the color map?
It's very colorful.
That's all I have.
Anyone else?
No.
I'll open to public. Any questions for our township planner? Nothing for Township. I'm going to ask Mr. Newman, Dan Newman, head of our building department. But before, I'd like to congratulate you all. See the teamwork down there, how they're handling that microphone. Who's pressing the button for everybody? That's good. I like to see that.
Poor Alyssa's stuck in the middle.
Poor Alyssa, yeah. Her arm gets tired on each side.
My name is Dan Newman. I want to thank you for having us here today. I supervise the Division of Inspections. My title is actually construction official. The Division of Inspections is empowered to enforce both the Uniform Construction Code as well as local ordinances related to property maintenance and occupancy or reoccupancy of rental units. The division therefore has two budgets, one dedicated to the enforcement of the Uniform Construction Code and one dedicated to the municipal code enforcement of our property maintenance codes and rental inspections. So I'm going to start out with the Uniform Construction Code. The purpose of the Uniform Construction Code is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public, but also to encourage innovation in construction, including use of modern technical methods and the elimination of obsolete construction regulations that increase the cost of construction. Since Superstorm Sandy, the Division of Inspections has received aid in enforcing the Uniform Construction Code from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. The state has provided approximately 66 hours per week of inspection services and 23 hours per week of plan review services. The portion of the division staff dedicated to enforcement of the UCC in 2014 was 8 full-time clerical employees. We also had 1 additional clerical employee who worked for the division for only the first few months of the year before they were moved to zoning. In addition, we had 1 employee assigned to administration, but was being trained for a few hours a day when she was available in our department pending a permanent transfer to our division. It's not the same 8 people, but we will have 8 people again in 2015, 8 clerical. We have 7 full-time inspectors. We have a shared service arrangement with the Fire Bureau to provide fire inspection and plan review services. We also have 2 part-time elevator inspectors. We had 7 full-time inspectors, so we had 2 part-time elevator inspectors. We actually added 1 this year due to increase in residential elevators because of all the house lifting. And then also our normal elevator inspector had a family illness and it limited his availability this year. So we brought in a second part-time inspector to help out. The number of inspections performed in 2014 was 18,299 inspections. Of these inspections, Township employees performed 11,959, or 65% of the inspections. State inspectors performed 6,340, or 35% of the performed inspections. This combination of Township employees and aid from the state employees has allowed us to issue 4,196 permits and 991 updates for a total of 5,187 permits processed through 2014. The number of permits is actually down 14% from 2013. However, the value of the construction is up 19% from 2013 to $104,464,413, which is an increase of 39% over the average cost of construction when you spread it out over 8 years. The value of the work undertaken has increased while the number of actual jobs, actually work jobs, has gone down. The revenue generated by the permit fees increased to $1,798,383, which is up 29% from 2013. In addition, we generated $42,400 in penalties, which is up 72% from 2013, and $30,585.92 from a shared service arrangement we have with Lavalette, where we help out a little bit with their building subcode services, which is up 68% for the total revenue for our department of $1,871,368.92. Our total expenditures for the department in 2014 was $1,033,610.30, which is a 15% decrease from 2013. We collected $837,757.70 more in fees than we spent. But some of you, and I know Councilman Fosman is one of them, has seen an annual report that we provide to the state. In that report, other costs are also calculated into the cost of the department that isn't in the budget. That includes fringe benefits of employees, as well as indirect costs. Indirect costs, there's a formula the state uses to determine the fact that we are not paying for vehicle maintenance, because that comes out of Public Works budget. We're not paying rent for our space. That really, so there's a formula the state uses to calculate indirect costs. With those fees calculated, the department revenue on the state's perspective was $452,665.42 more than our expenditures. We are requesting an increase in salaries and overtime budgets from $891,485 to $1,022,505, which is a 14% increase. This is due partially to the continued flux in the construction industry and the continued recovery from Superstorm Sandy. We will need additional staff as the year progresses. We are also seeking an increase in our overtime budget. That's actually combined in that number. The increase in our overtime budget is partially due to the workload, but also because we remain open one Saturday a month. In 2014, we spent $37,596, so this year we're requesting $30,000 in overtime. We had spent more than we had originally budgeted. The increase in salaries and overtime requested is partially offset by a 13% decrease in the request for our operating budget. To run through the operating budget line items, we request for conferences and conventions was reduced. In 2014, we had requested $400. Very few people had time to go to conferences this year, so we only spent $50, so we're reducing that to $200. Dues for associations for inspectors, we requested an increase from $400 in 2014 to $475 in 2015. With our added inspectors in our department, more of them joined their associations, and I actually encourage that. It's the best way you get information. At the request of administration, a line item was also created for uniforms. We purchased shirts for the inspectors, and they kind of look good, all dressed the same. So $0 we requested that in 2014, but we had spent $231 on uniforms, so this year we're requesting $240. We're going to continue to buy one shirt a year for the inspectors. The largest increase in the budget is for in the operating budget is for publications, which is line item 243. State of New Jersey is about to adopt new editions of the codes. It's already appeared in the register once. That will require the division to purchase multiple code books for multiple subcodes. The New Jersey version of the codes generally are not available in a digital format. If they become available in a digital format, and I hope they will this year, we'll compare cost to digital formats and hardcovers, but for now we have to buy the hardcover books. In 2014, we had requested $500 for publications. We actually spent $624 because we needed some special flood hazard publications that had come out. But this year we're requesting $4,000. Request for general hardware and protective clothing remains the same as in 2014, $50 and $25 respectively. Due to the hiring of additional inspectors, we overspent on a line item for office materials, simple things, staplers, tape dispensers. The expectation is that the expenditures from these items will return to something more similar to previous years, so the request is the same as 2014. We had requested $1,500, and we're going to request the same thing in 2015. The permit activity and an increase in the cost of printing to print all our forms and documents that we provide to the public create an increase in our line item for printing. In 2014, we had requested $3,000. 2015, we're requesting $4,000. The request for stormroom supplies is decreased. We requested in 2014 $400. We're going to request $375. We had not had requests for individual reimbursements for several years. That's used in case somebody wound up having spent some money out of his pocket for some item. So in 2014, we requested $200, but we haven't really spent much of that, so we reduced that request to only $50. Outside contractors line item was used to pay for independent inspectors when needed due to a conflict of interest. The number of conflicts has actually gone up due to new rules by the state that actually puts everybody on the council, anybody who's involved in the budget, into conflict with the building department. However, we've entered an agreement with Lakewood to cover those conflicts, so we no longer require an expenditure of funds. What basically happens is you have to actually file your permit with Lakewood, and they will collect the fee, and they will do the inspections for that fee. However, a small amount is still in the budget, my budget request, being that there's always a chance that we'll have a conflict that also conflicts out Lakewood. So even though in 2014 we did not spend any, I did still request $200 for that line item. In addition to uniform, that's the Uniform Construction Code. In addition to that budget, I also supervise the municipal code enforcement. For some reason, we call it the other code enforcement in the budget process. But municipal code enforcement has undergone major changes. The enforcement of the municipal property maintenance codes has shifted from the Division of Land Use to the Division of Inspections, as Michael had mentioned. We also reduced our staff of inspectors when the transfer of the Division of Inspections happened in July. The purpose of the municipal code is to protect the quality of life of our residents and to ensure safe housing is provided by our landlords. In the beginning of the year, code enforcement included 1 full-time clerical employee and 6 inspectors. Due to the reorganization and 1 inspector out on leave for illness, the inspection staff has been reduced to 3 inspectors. We are looking to add possibly 1 part-time inspector to aid us. Code enforcement officers conducted 1,364 rental inspections this year, or excuse me, in 2014, and 119 of those were re-inspections. The inspectors also investigated 819 requests for investigations through our RFA system. That's our web portal system where people can request inspections. They issued 3,040 violation notices for violations of the municipal property maintenance codes. They issued 111 summonses to municipal court. Fees collected in 2014 for rental inspections totaled $73,985. That total is up 22% from 2013. The expenditure for salaries and operating budget in 2014 was $329,805.81. That was an increase in expenditure from 2013 by 10%. This increase was due to an increase in salaries in 2014 with the reduction in our staff in 2015. The costs are expected to drop by 10%, from $329,805 to $294,105. We're requesting a decrease in salaries of 23%. Like I said, this is partially due to the reorganization of the code of the department. So in 2014, the request for salaries was $324,037. It's now going to be $247,505. The overtime for 2014 was reduced by 58% from 2013. 2013, code enforcement worked a lot of overtime helping out with Sandy and getting information out to the public. That trend should continue, so the request for overtime is therefore reduced. In 2014, we requested $10,000. In 2015, we're only requesting $5,000 for that line item. We also purchased search for the code enforcement officers similar to the Uniform Construction Code officials this year, and we'll purchase additional shirts in 2015. So in 2014, we did spend $311, but you're going to see sort of a weird thing. It's in miscellaneous instead of uniforms because we didn't have a uniform line item in the 2014 budget. So we're requesting $250 in the 2015 budget in that line item. Conferences and conventions were not utilized this year, but we requested it stay at $200 because as time allows, our guys do want to try to attend more conferences. The biggest change to the budget request is for expert services. The Property Maintenance Board, and if you're not familiar with it, I'll be happy to answer questions about the way that process works, has a very large increase in abandoned, dilapidated structures on its agenda. Some of these, we believe, are going to move towards getting a demolition order. If we go to that process, we will need to have a budget for demolition. Now, that money will be recouped as a tax lien, But before we can oppose a tax lien and get recouped that money, we would need a line item for that expense. So for now, we are requesting $40,000. It's my hope to also to adopt a new property maintenance code this year. We are presently using 2006. The 2015 property maintenance code edition is available. If the council agrees to that, we were going to need to buy a few more books, so we're requesting $200 to cover the cost of the new code books. The request for office materials is lower to be closer to what is actually spent. We had budgeted $150 last year. We're only going to budget $100 this year, make a request. Request for printing and binding is increased over last year from $600 in 2014 to $700 in 2015. The request for purchase of shirts, like I said, we charged that into the miscellaneous line item in 2014 because we didn't have a uniform line item. So we added that uniform line item. So the request for this line item for miscellaneous expenses increased by $25 only, even though we had spent quite a bit more in that line item last year. So the request was going from $50 to $75 in that line item. The line item for storeroom supplies is lower to reflect, again, what we actually spent. So we're reducing that line item from $100 in 2014 down to $75. Okay. That's basically the whole budget for the whole division. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. I'll open to questions from the council. Vice President.
I actually have a question for all of you. You all mentioned your Saturday hours. How is that going? Are residents coming in? Are they happy with their service? Any of you?
Engineering gets at least someone every week. Typically, we get at least 10 people on a Saturday for what I'm hearing, I'm counting. But it is a great catch-up day, if nothing else. And return phone calls, do your emails, catch up on the permit volume, and to go through and call people who haven't yet picked up their permits. You get the initial phone call, some people just forget. They put up their shed anyway. Just call them and get them to come in and pay for their permit.
Okay.
If I can make a comment on
Yes.
that. The volume isn't extensive, but the folks that are coming are abundantly appreciative of the fact that they can come on
On
a Saturday.
Saturday, sure.
Because they can't get here at any other time.
Makes
So
sense.
it's not a high volume, but it's a greatly valued service by the people that use it.
Great.
And-
Anyone else from the council?
I was just going to say, and just like Alyssa said, it's a good catch-up day. We unfortunately, because of the volume we have Monday through Friday, a lot of the, filing, pulling old records to try to encourage people to close out permits has been done on Saturdays, and it's actually been great to have that extra time to handle a lot of those added things that we can't get to Monday through Friday.
President Marmelo, if I could just add something. So what you're really saying is that even though you're really categorizing Saturday as a catch-up day, it's really not a catch-up day. It's really an added day that's necessary in order to complete the work that's necessary during the course of the week. Is that correct?
That's correct. If we
Okay.
didn't have those Saturday hours, we would have to have staff stay in excess of 4 p.m. Monday to Friday eventually to do that work.
Which would increase our overtime, which would increase our amount that we'd have to pay them. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, no further questions.
Councilwoman?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to commend all three of you for very thorough presentations. But Dan, yours particularly, we get these budget books, and for those at home and out here who've never seen one of these, it's a mass of numbers. Your notes in this book were very, very helpful in sorting it all out, so thank you very much. The question that I had is sort of a hypothetical. Just before I came into the meeting tonight, I was catching up on some reading, and in this month's League of Municipalities magazine, they mentioned that there is state legislation pending that would expand the abandoned property statute to include non-residential properties as well. If that were to come to fruition in this budget year, how would it have any impact on your budget and your operation?
Though I'm sure if I went out today, I could probably find a few abandoned commercial properties. We had almost no, I won't say there was none, but almost no commercial properties in the flood-related areas. We have very few properties that are completely ignored by their owner. In my mind, and I won't say it public, there's 2 exceptions to that rule I can think of right now. One of them, however, has come in to get permits, and they're going to be upgrading their property and doing some work. I'm very happy about that finally. So I don't think that that's our main concern. Our biggest issue is residential abandoned properties.
Certainly. Thank you.
Anyone else from council? No? I'll open to public. Anyone have any questions? No questions from the public? Thank you. Because you all did such a great job, you get to stay for the rest of the meeting.
It is not mean. Their duty and their obligation.
We'll move on to the consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Resolution 5-1, authorize receipt of proposals, operation of the Township Marina at Traders Cove. I'd like to ask the mayor to speak on that.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, the operation of Traders Cove, we're going to go out to receive some proposals to see if an outside company is able to run it in a more efficient manner than we can in-house. They're going to take a look at, we're going to take a look and compare and see, when we compare what our operating costs were last year with the number of employees we had, and then compare that either to what we made last year, what we anticipate to make this year, as well as what a company would come in and charge us to run it. So we want to take a look and make that big comparison to see how we save the town money.
Great. Thank you. 5-2, authorize receipt of proposals and design, construction, and operation of a restaurant at Traders Cove. Mayor?
Yes, thank you. This is, everybody knows Trader Cove costs us a lot of money. We pay a large debt service every single year, and we're really never going to break even, but what we need to do is maximize our revenues as best as possible. So what this is we're going out to receive proposals from various restaurants about building a facility there. The size of the building is already part of the original Traders Cove plan. The area for the building is already there. It's been there from the beginning. Just a matter of having a high-quality restaurant come in with a banquet facility, whatever they're going to offer for us. And we've had a number of companies contact us about trying to get their hands on that proposal before it was even before we were allowed to release it. We did have to get Green Acres approval because obviously we want to have everything environmentally sound there, and the money that we receive from, they're going to have to, we want a company to build the restaurant. I know there's been some estimates out there of the cost of a building, somewhere, in the $2 million range, and we don't want to have the taxpayers pay for that any longer. That's why we need to have an outside company come in. We want to have something that everybody can enjoy, a nice banquet facility, a nice restaurant right on the water that's environmentally safe, and have more and more people come out to our Traders Cove Park and be able to enjoy the Barnegat Bay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 5-3, authorize award of bid, manufacture and printing of tax bills. This resolution approves a bid to manufacture and print our tax bills to WePro Ltd. in Focusing, Leonia, New Jersey, at a rate not to exceed $20,164. Our tax collector is recommending the award of this bid as the company has been producing our bills for many years. Resolution 5-4, authorize award of bid improvements to Bay Harbor Beach. This resolution approves an award of bid for improvements to Bay Harbor Beach to Albert Marine Construction in the amount of $317,121.50. The scope of work includes dredging, beach nourishment, stone pathway construction, bulkhead demolition, and installation of a breakwater construction. And that's a Sandy-funded project, correct? Emergency?
It was funded previously.
Thank you. Resolution 5-5, authorizing change order number 2, final bulkhead improvements, various location. This resolution is approving change order number 2 and final be authorized, and that the contract issued to JAK Construction, trading as Diamond Construction, Inc., be decreased by $6,010, and the contract be decreased from $123,965 to $117,955. Resolution 5-6, authorizing change order number 1, aggregates and asphalts. This resolution rescinds a bid award for crushed clamshells to Central Jersey Hot Mix, which the award was in error. The cause of the error was the placing of the bid amount in the wrong line on the bid tally sheet, which gave the appearance that the price was given for crushed clamshells and no bid by the other bidder for cold patch. There were in fact no bidders on this line item when the township went out to bid earlier this year. The second part of the bid was cold patch, which is being awarded to Central Jersey Hot Mix as primary vendor at a pickup price of $110 per ton and a delivered price of $140 per ton. Cold patch was previously awarded to Trap Rock Industries, who will receive the award as secondary vendor at a delivered price of $145 per ton. And that is a 2-year contract.
Council President?
Yes.
So we'll still have to go out to bid
For
for
the
the
clamshells.
clamshells, right?
Yes.
Correct. Resolution 5-7, authorizing the execution of shared service agreement with the County of Ocean Child Restraint Grant Program 2015. Councilwoman, would you like to explain that?
I would. Thank you, Mr. President. We all know the importance of keeping our children safe while they're traveling in a vehicle. We all know the importance of having proper and appropriate child restraints. But a lot of people don't know that the restraints for the child expire after 5 years. You can't take a child home from a hospital if you're trying to use their older siblings' car seat that's over 5 years old. I have taken, probably because of my OCD, I've taken my my child restraint seats over to Silverton, over at the fire prevention center, and the had 25 minutes about. They took each of my 3 car seats and told me what I was doing right or wrong about them. So this is something that's going to give us the ability to do the same thing. If you want to know if your child restraints are placed properly, because they're not easy. I don't know if anyone is a mother of kids under 7 at this point, but they're not easy to put in. And when they're trained properly, these guys can actually tell us how to put them in the right way and prevent death or serious injury for the children. So I do make it a habit to take my my restraint seats, all 3 of them, every about 3-4 months to make sure I'm doing it right. So this is an excellent grant, and I'm really, really glad to see it happen in Brick. So I hope everyone takes advantage of it, and I hope everyone takes the time to learn how to get their child restraints properly in place, because it's very easy to put them in wrong. I'm living proof, so they fixed it all 3 times. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And that grant's going to allow our police department to designate officers to become certified child passenger safety. Okay. Resolution 5-8, Turco Construction is requesting a waiver from the Township Noise Ordinance. They're doing a water connection on Cedar Bridge Avenue. The work will be performed from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Between March 18th and March 20th, depending on the weather, if the ground ever thaws. In the event of inclement weather, the project will be under construction from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., March 23rd through 27th. Resolution 5-9, bond reduction release 59A is a performance bond release, 21st Venture Paramount Realty of Lakewood, New Jersey, in the amount of $2,400 for a site improvement application on Salmon Street. All required improvements of the construction are complete. Performance bond release 5.9B, Manzo Organization, Patterson, New Jersey, a Hudson Insurance Company, performance bond in the amount of $122,174.30, and a cash performance bond in the amount of $13,574.92 for site improvements at Block 646.2, got that one totally wrong, lots 1, 5, 78 through 83 on Manalocan Road. All required improvements for the construction are complete. Performance bond 5.9C, William Frank / Kenneth Avon, Point Pleasant, New Jersey, who had posted an Ohio Casualty Insurance Company subdivision bond in the amount of $11,253.71 and a cash performance bond in the amount of $1,250.41 for site improvements at Block 838, Lot 22, off Tilford Boulevard. All required improvements of construction are complete. 5.9D, performance bond reduction, GHU Properties LLC, River Rock Sports Bar and Grill, Brick, New Jersey, has posted NGM Insurance Company subdivision site plan bond in the amount of $88,961.58, be reduced by $69,192.34, retaining $19,769.24 until project completion. Portions of the required improvements on the property have been completed and are acceptable. Resolution 510, tax collector exempt property, cancel taxes at Visitation Relief Center, Manaloking Road, Block 654, Lot 119, as exempt from taxes due to the fact that it has been acquired by the Church of Visitation. Previously, they had rented out areas of the Relief Center, which now they are not doing, so that allows them to take advantage of the tax relief. Tax overpayment for 510B, Block 202.27/Lot 11 in the amount of $1,620.08 as an overpayment. Tax overpayment 510C, Block 180.26, Lot 2, for the amount of $6,312, which is due to a state tax appeal and reduced assessment. Tax overpayment, Resolution 510D, Block 670, Lot 9.01, in the amount of $19,521.60, which is due to a multi-year state tax appeal and reduced assessment. Any questions from the council?
Yes, Mr. President? Mayor?
Yes.
With regards to 558, the waiver on the noise ordinance,
Yes.
has all the residents in that area have been notified with a letter that we're going to waive this so that we don't get the 2 o'clock phone ringing that they can't take this noise?
If that hasn't been done, we can make sure it's done prior.
Can we just get a letter out just so the people in that area understand that? Excellent.
I know traffic safety looked at it as well because of the dates, and it was approved by
Okay.
them for that. It's going to be, it's on the corner of Hooper.
Any
across from
homeowners, I don't know if
Victoria,
there's, I'm trying
that
to think of
area
any
there.
homes
There's
that are in
homes
that area.
directly behind
Behind
it, the property, but.
But the
where
noise is
they're gonna
supposed to be
cutting
not
into the
that
street,
loud,
It's
but
mostly, it's
just
mostly
wanna-
commercial though.
Thank
Where
you.
they're going to do that. Anyone else?
Thank you, John. Thank you.
I'll call for a motion and a second. on the
Motion.
consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontoriero, second by Vice President DeYoung. I'll open to the public for questions on the resolutions. Sir?
John Sluka, Sylvia Court. Might be your related question. These 5-year items on these restraints, are they 5 years just because the manufacturer wants to make more money, or is there a real reason for this? Because if you have a child every year, you could put that child in that restraint coming from the hospital 5 times in a row for 5 years, and it might sit in your car. Other people have a child once every 6 years, and they take it out, and in 6 months they use it, and they put it down in the garage or in the basement or something like that, and then pull it out 6 years later. And under this setup, they can't give it to a friend, they can't use it themselves, it's illegal. Is there a real reason for this, or is it just the manufacturers? Because every time I read about those restraints, it says not to be used after 5 years, and you ask why, and you do not get an answer. Sort of the answer is, it's sitting in the sun, and it might actually, you don't keep that in your car for 5 years.
If I can have the floor. That's a great question, because when my godson was born, which was 6 years after my goddaughter was born, both of them niece and nephew for my brother, he called me in a panic and he said, "You've got to go get a new car seat for me because they're not letting me take the baby home in Jessica, my niece's car seat." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "They're telling me I can't take him home." So I researched it, and after 5 years, apparently they do improvements, and they do some selective modifications to the restraint seats that make them more safe for the children. So the hospitals won't even let you take the children home if
Because
it's
they're
a
not
car
allowed,
seat
right?
over 5 years.
Yeah. And I just-
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
And there's improvements made every year, so to say it's every 5 years, odds.
I think that they selected 5 years because 5 years is
It's a moneymaker.
a good deal of time to have made improvements in the car seat selection. I can tell you that my sister, who just bought car seats for her twin babies, paid an ungodly amount for car seats that I never would have paid because they were supposedly the best car seats on the market. So whether it is
But telling
because of the improvements that are made, or whether it's because of the actual safety, the fact of the matter is, this is a program that the hospitals have endorsed. So we have to be on board with that as well. We need our police officers to be trained in that as well, to make sure all of our children are safe.
Yeah.
You know,
But,
like it
yeah.
or not.
Yeah, again, usually the people I'm talking about, working class people who just about make ends meet, now have to.
Who are you telling? I was in the back of the car seat, in the back of the.
And you can't give it to
back of
somebody
the
in
window
need.
and in the hump of the car. I
You
understand.
can't give it to somebody in need. That's the part that drives me nuts.
Unfortunately, there are so many children now who are seriously injured or killed as a result of car accidents because of our increased population rate, and because of our increased speed, and because of our increased roads, that things have to be done differently than when we were younger. So
Well, I'm not
I
talking about
remember
my
the
car
days
seat.
when I ran it, when I was in the back seat of
My-
my parents' station wagon in the
My car
back
seat
of
was
it.
the-
I remember it very well, and nothing ever happened to me, but that's not to say that it won't happen to my
My car
niece or
seat was the
nephew.
back of a pickup truck, so.
That's right. We all bounced around in those too.
you know. But I'm saying, it always seems like the less the amount of money that people have, the less options they have. They can't take their child home from the hospital, and somebody can't even donate them a seat that's 5 years old.
In fact, there are organizations who will donate car seats for children, for impoverished families. There are many organizations who will donate that. So I do know that. So
As long as they're not old. Yeah.
if there is something that you need, you may want to contact me, and I can hook you up with the right resources. But yes,
I'm
there
probably
are.
not having a child soon, so.
Why, you look spry to
If you
me.
do, I have some
You
car
look like
seats,
you're ready
but
to
they're
have.
expired.
If you need any, I have.
I read
I have the
directions.
wealth of them. But there are programs that do offer free car seats, including the DCP&P will offer car seats for people who are unable to purchase car seats on their own. But it is a really important issue that
Well,
we
it's
have.
not putting them
because-
in, that's obviously what you're saying about people putting them in.
Oh, it
makes
is
a lot
hard
of
putting them
sense.
in, unless you've tried to put one in recently. Mr. Lukey, I'm telling you, it's not easy.
I don't put it in.
Councilwoman usually
My
have his 5
my
minutes.
son-in-law does.
All right, 5 minutes is up. Sit down.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, I'll close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Moore.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lydecker.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Vice President DeYoung.
Yes.
President Mumolo.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. 511, computer bill resolution 2015.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $8,905,721.42.
Thank you. I'll open to council. Vice President. Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Let's do Councilwoman Zapsik,
Oh,
please.
thank you, thank you. Yes, I have a question on page 34 and 35, Red Bank Veterinary Hospital. It looks like 2 of our canine officers went in for dental work. I want to make it clear that I'm not questioning the need for it. I'm curious as to the location. Red Bank Veterinary Hospital is a 24-hour-a-day facility. Was this emergency care or planned? And if it was planned, did we go out for quotes or RFP? I don't remember doing a contract or a resolution for this site, so if you could enlighten me on that.
Certainly. Bricktown Vet on Chambers Bridge, they care for our canine pets. They care for our canine officers. I'm not sure what they're called. But they care for them and do a
Officers.
fantastic job of giving them general primary care and preventative care. Both of these canines had very specialized intensive dental issues. That was beyond our vet's ability to perform. So we sent out, in working with our police department and purchasing department together, sent out requests for proposals to some local vets to see, one, could you perform the function and at what price? And Red Bank Vet was the only one that could do it in a timely manner. Both had very specialized dental issues, and they were the only folks that could do it. But we greatly appreciate the work done by Brick Township Vet. They do a fantastic job for our canines all year long. This is a rare exception.
Wonderful, thank you. And again, I want to make it clear, I'm not questioning the need. I know that with both of my dogs who have long since crossed the Rainbow Bridge, they both required sedatives to have their teeth cleaned, and it's very important for their health to keep up with the oral hygiene. So, like I said, I was just curious about the location. Thank you very much.
We could look into doggy dentures. I did see a commercial on that. I'm not quite sure how that works.
Okay.
Vice President, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question about Black Rock Enterprises. It's for the Route 70 improvements. I know last council meeting, we passed a change order for that, and we were getting reimbursed from DOT. Is this $100,000 part of that change order that we would be getting back from DOT?
The $72,000 is for payment 4, and the $35,000 is for a final PO. So these were most likely within the scope of the work. The other items that fell outside of it had to be approved by council, which was done at the last meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council?
No.
Okay. Close to council. Get a motion and a second to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontarero, second by Councilwoman Lydecker. Roll call, please.
Did you want to open that to public, or?
Oh, sorry, open to public. I always do that. Any questions from the public? I'll close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Moore.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Abstain on New Jersey Press Media, and yes to the rest.
Councilwoman Lydecker.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Abstain on the MUA and yes to the rest.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Vice President DeYoung.
Yes.
President Mumolo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. 512, Bill Resolution Manual, 2015.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,470,257.95.
Thank you. Open to the council. No questions. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontarero, second by Vice President DeYoung. Open to the public, I remembered. No questions from the public. Closed public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Moore.
Abstain. Township payroll, yes to the rest?
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lydecker.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ponterero.
Yes.
Vice President DeYoung.
Yes.
President Mamalo.
Yes. 6-1 is an ordinance first reading. There's no public hearing or comment on the first reading.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Township Code to create a new chapter to be entitled Landlord Rental Responsibility.
Thank you. This is something that's gone through public safety and land use, very important to the town. I'd like to ask the mayor to elaborate on it.
Sure, thank you. Absentee landlords are a problem. Not screening tenants creates problems for the people who live around those. This ordinance holds irresponsible landlords financially accountable for tenants who are convicted of 2 or more violations of law in a 2-year period. Law-abiding residents, their quality of life is affected by landlords that have no ties to brick. They don't have any pride in brick. They don't care about brick. This ordinance will hold those uncaring, irresponsible landlords accountable so that they will better screen any potential tenants. What we don't want is somebody to buy a place just to rent it out, just to get a check and walk away. We want landlords who care about brick, who will properly screen their tenants, keep our neighborhoods safe, keep our children safe, and keep brick the great place it is. And this ordinance, when passed, will hold those irresponsible landlords financially responsible for renting to those tenants that break the law. Thanks.
Very good. I'd like to get a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Wow. Motion by everybody?
Me.
Second by everybody.
Now, you heard me.
I don't know. Roll call, please.
Councilman Moore.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lydecker.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ponterero.
Absolutely yes.
Vice President DeYoung.
Yes.
President Mamalo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Public comment. Please note each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall be limited to his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code 2-33B. Who wants to be first? Sir?
Back again. This is my letter. Mayor John Ducey, Council President Paul Momolo, and all the council members and the Brick residents. The Garden State Parkway projects from exit 105 Monmouth County through most of Ocean County is a godsend for those high-flying drivers. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority saw a need to increase the amount of room speeding drivers needed to recover as they drove the Garden State Parkway. Nearly 10 years ago, studies were done to make sure that the noise didn't impact the residents very much, and the NJTA concluded it would be minimal. The project began, but due to poor planning, the NJTA didn't account for the EPA requiring them to cut down hundreds of thousands of trees for water basins in the center divider, which increased the noise levels and allowed diesel and auto emissions to flow onto the residents within a half mile of the Garden State Parkway, all through Brick. The NJTA wrote up plans and hired marketing firms to tell the world about the roadway benefits of this new wider high speed lanes that would get people home to work and other places 5 minutes faster. People can now travel the Garden State Parkway at 85 miles an hour without flying off the roadway. Diesel trucks will be able to make deliveries to businesses in this southern area a few minutes faster and return home. Their home base is just a little bit quicker. Yes, the Garden State Parkway is a godsend for the big companies and for people who need to return to a night of entertainment out in Atlantic City. Yes, the roadway is much more efficient, and cars and trucks can cruise the roadway at speeds over 85 miles an hour on this superhighway. As one speeds along, they can get a sense of how it must be to live off of Route 80 down in Kansas, or to be in the wildlife refuges in New Mexico, What a wonderful life that would be to have no concern about and drive through these open spaces. A wonderful way to feel like it's state of Kansas, where the population is scattered in New Mexico, where there are about 20 people per square mile. In New Jersey, we are a little bit more densely populated with 1,200 people per square mile, and many hundreds of thousands live in a cloud of the Garden State Parkways, auto emissions, and truck emissions. In Kansas and New Mexico, one may not care about the environment and the people who live near the roadway because they are far and few in between. I guess if I was a marketing firm, trying to put a nice light on the blight of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority as created on this Garden State Parkway, I'd talk about the possible decrease in accidents that may or may not occur. And there are also people how it wouldn't get stuck in traffic anymore. And they would, as they visited shore areas and other items, they also might be able to talk about the millions of dollars spent that maybe went to the workers, some of the workers, on the parkway, but they still wouldn't talk about the state residents. I know I wouldn't be if I was hired to be a spokesman for them. I would not talk about the noise level on the residents living with those 280,000 cars and trucks traveling off the park roadway, where people are walking their pets within 100 yards of the traffic. I know I wouldn't definitely talk about the carcinogens now overflowing the hundreds of school children waiting at bus stops each morning. I absolutely would not mention the health risks associated with the diesel truck toxins that are inhaled by unsuspecting residents of Ocean County. As a public relations spokesman, I would never bring up the studies that have shown that multitudes of lung ailments, heart disease, and early deaths to our seniors and other neighbors living near the Garden State Parkway pollutants. No, if I were a hired marketer, I would never suggest that more trees get planted on the entire Garden State Parkway and pollution sound barriers be built. To alleviate the health concerns of the citizens, if I were only a big profiteer and politically connected agency like the people on the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commission, I would be happy that my marketing firm that I would be associated with would only point out the benefits to the thousands of drivers who now can get to their destination a few minutes faster. I must ask myself, if I were only a government-sponsored agency commissioner like the NJTA, would I only be concerned that those who helped me get into a respectable position like that, I took care of them? I only wish that I could be an uncaring person like they were. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Ma'am? I'm adding it up.
All the way down. Good evening, everyone. Michelle from Evergreen Woods. We went to the Turnpike Authority last Tuesday, and we pretty much got the same, except this time they shook our hand and acted as if they were actually going to be doing something for us, but because I guess the landscaping, I think, is going to be marvelous. We actually had a scientist with us that explained to them, and they were kind of dumbfounded to hear this, that the DEP did not have the authority to do puddle management. They can only install basins in agricultural areas or dams or sewage treatment plants. And they've actually and he actually proved that they exceeded their authority. So we're going back again this month. I actually have the statutes, which I can email you. And the other thing is, we met with the Environmental Commission. I think they're trying to come up with ideas, but I think they're kind of dumbfounded as to what else we can do that we haven't done, except they did mention lawsuit, and the very next day I got forwarded an email from a property manager that a gentleman in Pondview Estates in Howell wants to get together with other communities to have a large class action lawsuit against the Turnpike Authority and the DEP. He lives in Pondview Estates. His wife is a paralegal and works for a law firm. They actually did a sound study, and we're against the parkway, there's Herborn Avenue. He's in a community off of Herborn and the other side, and they actually measured 70 decibels, and this is on the other side of Herborn Avenue, and they have issues. And the builders, no help, and so I told them that I actually asked him to come tonight. I don't know if he's here. He might be here, but the weather was kind of lousy, so I don't know if he actually came. So, I mean, at this point, maybe we should consider it. If we can, as someone suggested, if we get enough people to put in so much money into pot and get a lawyer interested, maybe, you know, we can get that to happen. In a letter a couple of years ago, the Turnpike Authority actually said that it would be easier to mitigate on our side, insinuating to do something on our side. If we did have a wall on our side, there's really not a lot of room there. I don't know how tall it would be, what they could do, what could get done. So I mean, these are just like other options. There's different kinds of walls. It could be financed over so many years. The Turnpike Authority could finance it for so many years, you know, plus interest. They bond. And I guess that's it. Oh, and yeah, the Asbury Park Press we interviewed on Tuesday, so we're still waiting for that. They did a video, which we did outside in the freezing rain. It was actually raining, frozen rain on us. But anyway, we're out there, we toughed it out. So that's going to be on the Asbury Park Press online website, and I guess, I don't know if they're going to have it in the online newspaper. The regular newspaper will let you know. We'll send you a link. So this is everything that we've been doing. Oh, we were saying in place of where the chain link fence is, if we could have some kind of something over their wall. It would have to be taller, of course, because the roadway is 5.5 feet taller than us. I mean, we haven't spoken to anybody about this, but, you know, we're just throwing ideas out there. As somebody mentioned to me, they could drag this out for years, and, you know, I don't want to be doing this the rest of my life. So, I guess that's it. I can send you the administrative codes or whatever from the DEP that show that they were outside the law when they were doing it, and we actually explained to DEP that they actually may have broken the law, the Turnpike Authority. So.
All right, you could forward that to the,
Yeah.
you have our emails.
Yeah, I have
If you could
everybody's
forward-
emails.
We'll make sure everybody
Yeah,
will distribute.
yeah. Okay, all right.
Right, thank you.
And, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Sir? Oh, you, ma'am?
Good evening, Nan Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. You see before you a very saddened, to the point of despair, older woman. I may not be the oldest person in this room right now. That was proved to me a little while ago. May not still be so, but I'm definitely older than anyone this side of the partition. I actually remember Winston Churchill, who has been mentioned in Congress a couple of times in the past 2 days. I remember in the 50s praying in my church for the conversion of Russia. We are in a more desperate situation today than we were then. We are in a more desperate situation than when the Revolutionary War was fought. And what saddened me is rejecting the idea of an invocation, commonly called a prayer before the meeting. I'm not looking to inflict my religious beliefs on anyone or anybody's religious beliefs. If you have an invocation, nobody has to stand and honor that. Nobody has to participate. For that matter, we don't have to participate in the pledge. We had a president in recent time, and everyone here, I think, would know the name of him. He did not pledge allegiance because his religion said nobody before his God was going to be paid allegiance. So that is acceptable not to participate. I believe this country was founded on Judeo-Christian beliefs, as I said. I don't think there was one Jewish person among the original founding fathers. I don't think that any of them lived here at the time. But it's still because Christianity doesn't exist, nor Islam, without Judaism. I will send you an email which will contain the prayer in the first Congress in 1774 AD, which surprised me. Not 1774. I will go back to that. I also, on that same site, you can get the prayers. I will give you the text, because I copied them, of every invocation in the house for the month of February, including the day that you made the final determination not to have the prayer. It was February 3rd, a date that means something to me, and it mentions that on that day, you remember the first Special Service Force of World War II, when Americans and Canadians formed for the first time a combined unit trained to be a small elite corps. Please ponder the rest of it at your leisure, and take into account that we really need prayer. FBI Director James Comey has advised us within the past week, I believe it was, that every one of the 50 states has an ISIS presence in it. I don't care what you call it. They call themselves the Islamic State. In the first, at the first Congress, and it's in our Constitution, that we were endowed by our Creator, which acknowledges a supreme power over us. And it mentions Heavenly Father. Look down in mercy. It talks about giving the people that are making the decisions to give them the wisdom and valor in the field, defeat the malicious designs of our cruel adversaries, convince them of the unrighteousness of their cause, constrain them to drop their weapons of war. It calls for harmony and peace to be effectually restored. I will send it to you with my strikeout of the very last sentence, because I do not believe that any prayer, I will say it here so you know, so people know what I'm talking about. I don't believe it's an appropriate one in a public assembly of all different beliefs. What I struck out is, all this we ask in the name and through the merits of Jesus Christ, thy Savior and thy Son and our Savior. That I don't think is part of a public prayer. Any mention of Jesus specifically, whom I definitely believe in, wouldn't be appropriate. So please, when you get the email, reconsider that. We need prayer, or ISIS is going to defeat us. They are here, everywhere.
Thank you. Sir, did you want to come up?
Victor Fittimore, 137 Queen Anne Road, Brick, New Jersey. I want to thank the mayor and I want to thank the council for putting together the landlord program to help the community, to help the people. And yeah, this is not for every landlord. This is just for those individuals that do have difficulties. There's a lot of good landlords out there. There's a lot of good people out there. This is a great opportunity for the council to help if there's a troubled family that can now be recognized. There's a lot of new programs that's coming that's been brought up through the council. That's a great opportunity for bringing people together with the town as a whole. Just the quality of life for residents and people, as well as the police department, the safety. As a added, talked about a cost of recovery. I think that would be something to look into. That if it should continue, other than just the fines that's presented in a 24-month period, but if there's an ongoing investigation, that's a cost. That cost can be returned back to the landlord, and it's known as the cost of recovery fees. So some areas to look into. I mean, I know right now, just looking online through Trula and the MLS shows that Bricktown itself recently is estimated between 28% rental properties, and that's growing. Now with more condos coming in, more developments are coming in, chances are we may have more rental properties coming in to the area. So with other things that's happening, we'll say, people may look towards rental properties as an option. So by putting in this new ordinance, I think it's going to be a benefit to the community, to the township. And I thank the council and the mayor for making this happen for the people of Brick and for the city of Brick.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Sir?
Mancini, Yellow Brick Road. I also want to thank the mayor and the council for that same ordinance that's been proposed. I trust that it will be enforced and there'll be stiff penalties if there's...
Sir, could you just, sorry, lift the mic up a little bit because they're having trouble hearing.
I trust that
Thank
it'll
you.
be enforced and that there's stiff penalties for any landlords that don't abide by it. I'd also like to make a suggestion that another ordinance be researched for any absentee land or to require anyone on a condo board that's going to sit on a condo board should also live in that condo, right? And not live outside of that condo. Right? I'd like that to be researched, if you could. I don't know if it's already been discussed or thought about.
If that's bylaws or not, I don't know how that would.
It's something that
Bylaws of the,
Yes. It is being researched.
great.
How about that? Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, close public. I'll move on to council comments. Start with our administrative table.
I have no further comment, thank you.
Thank you. Mayor.
Thank you. I'm actually going to take some time. So I'm warning everybody now. But the reason why, because I'm looking at everything that I've experienced here in town since our last council meeting, and I'm not actually even including a couple fundraisers and things like that I went to. But since what Brick is all about, you're going to hear it over the next, what I describe here. Sports, businesses, Sandy victims, academics, drama, kids involved with the drama club, hardworking kids, seniors, volunteers, community, recreation, performance, and giving back to the community. So I just want to touch on what has been going on here in town, and it just shows you during this freezing cold weather, when most people want to be at home, here in Brick, people are doing so many things, from kids to seniors, all the way straight through. February, and a number of council people were at a number of these events, and I know you're going to touch on them too, but to save time, I'm not going to mention who was at each one of these things. But I went to our Brick Recreation Girls Championship basketball games on February 22nd, Sunday the 22nd, and watched two great games. I had to leave before the boys' game started, but it was definitely exciting, the second one especially, and close games and watching both teams fight hard. February 23rd was the ribbon cutting at Red Robin, a brand new business here in town. February 25th, the FEMA Firm Maps meeting down in Toms River. Over 50% of the people I saw there were from Brick. And that's where everybody got to learn about what their elevations are now, because the maps are now firm. They are still appealable by homeowners. And if you're affected by Sandy, I'm sure you know how to go about doing that. One thing I did learn there is, as far as flood insurance goes, if you all you have to do is insure, depending on your mortgage company, but if your mortgage company gives you okay, if you don't have a mortgage, you only have to insure up to the value of the amount you received from FEMA money, if anything, any grants. So if you only received $50,000, you only have to have $50,000 worth of flood insurance. So it's a choice you can make, and it's something that I didn't know about. I thought everybody had to have the $250,000. February 26th, I did National Reading Day at the Emma Habens School. And got to read a great book and meet a bunch of third graders and then a bunch of fifth graders. Then at night was the Relay for Life kickoff. The Relay for Life is taking place on May 29th and May 30th. It's a huge fundraiser in town for the American Cancer Society. They have a great program at the beginning for all survivors, so if anybody knows any survivors of cancer, the dinner is on May 29th. It's all taking place right at the Brick High School. Number of teams raise money for a great cause. One person from each team should be walking the track at all times, because cancer never sleeps. It's 24 hours a day, and that's what it symbolizes. And it goes from 6 p.m. on the 29th all the way straight through to the 30th, overnight. There's a number of activities that go on. It's a fun event as well, not just not just the seriousness of raising money and the seriousness of cancer. There's all sorts of games, balloons being made for kids, face painting, corn toss, and a great illumination ceremony that takes place. February 27th was a Friday night, and right here in this courtroom / council chambers, I guess, was the mock trial competition. There was a trophy. It's called the Mayor's Cup, and it was Brick Township High School versus Brick Memorial High School. It's the first time the Mayor's Cup mock trial competition has happened since 2000. Right on the trophy, the last winner was Brick Township High School in the year 2000, and now it'll say 2015, Brick Township again. They were able to defeat Brick Memorial, but it was definitely a close competition, and all the kids did a great job. The very next day, Saturday morning, the Rudy Awards were given out, and that's for kids in our basketball recreation department. And the Rudy Awards and the All-Star Games took place later, earlier and before and after the Rudy Awards were given. The All-Star Game, obvious, everybody knows what an All-Star Game is. Best players get to go out there and play. Rudy Awards, something more important. It's for kids who give 100% at every practice, at every game. It's kids who learn the most. It's kids who tried the most, tried the hardest, had to show the most sportsmanship. So very, very important type of award. And 57 special kids won that award that day, and I was able to hand out those trophies to those kids and watch the smiles on their faces. They were getting called down because there was a surprise to them. They didn't know, they thought they were there to watch the All-Star Games. Because a lot of them were playing, most of them were playing in the All-Star Games, but they were there to support their teammates, and then little did they know they were receiving a trophy. March 2nd, Dr. Zeus reading day at Midstreams. Then at that night, I spoke at the Princeton Commons Men's Club. That's one of my mayor's night out. Again, please invite me anywhere. I'll come speak to your club. March 3rd, this morning, National Pancake Day at the Brick IHOP. As of 10 o'clock this morning, they had raised over $20,000 from 6 o'clock a.m. to 10 a.m., and together with another event that Joe Maskey had done, which raised $53,000, they were at $73,000 as of 10 o'clock this morning. It goes till 10 o'clock tonight. If I stop speaking, maybe some of us can get there. But next up, tomorrow night, March 4th, is my radio show. It's at 7 o'clock. It is on blogtalkradio.com/Talking Brick Township. To call in, 347-426-3543. Please get your questions in early. What's been happening is the show starts at 7. I'm speaking for about 25 minutes, and it's usually a half-hour show, and about 7:28 or so, we get our first call and our second call, and it ends at 7:30, but they give us a little extension to 7:45. But if you can call up earlier, we can get to your questions there. March 5th, I'm speaking at the Greenbrier Kiwanis. March 7th is our Ocean County St. Patrick's Day Parade over in Seaside I'll be marching in. March 10th, I'm going down to Atlantic City to accept an award for our Windward Beach Playground given by a state recreation organization because of what a great job Dan Santinello did in the recreation department in designing that park. Wednesday, March 11th is our Senior Services St. Patrick's Day brunch at 11 o'clock. Please call 732-920-8686 to register. 3/14, which is March 14th, obviously, Brick Memorial Color Guard Percussion Competition is taking place at Brick Memorial High School. And there's going to be the Mayor's Award, which is going to be given to the best ensemble there that day. And then finally, March 17th, right here in this room, we're going to have our special St. Patrick's Day version of a council meeting here. So whoever made that schedule, I appreciate it on St. Patrick's Day. It should be a national holiday. Instead, we're having a council meeting. And so there it is. There's the best in brick, the best and the brightest from kids who are in 3rd grade learning how to read or learning to love to read, all the way straight through to the Princeton Commons Men's Club and our St. Patrick's Day brunch for seniors and everything in between. Thank you, Brick, for allowing me to be your mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Counselor?
Nothing to add to that.
Thank you.
It's nothing,
Madam
thank
Sec-
you.
Madam Clerk, Madam Secretary.
Yes,
Sir.
please, thank you.
Councilman.
That's a tough role to follow, Mr. Mayor. Nowhere.
Not much left.
Most important, I think this is, which is very dear to me, but also it's dear to the police department. I just want everybody to save the date. It's going to be March 27th, so I'll make sure, I'll give everybody about 10 seconds, grab a pencil and paper, or homeowners. Again, March 27th, the Brick Township Police Department is holding their 25th annual Helping Hands benefit basketball game. For those that know it, the game is featured by members of the Brick Police Department playing the Brick Green Dragons football team. It's a great event. As for the past, the PBA is hosting the game to assist the local family facing financial hardship due to child's serious illness. This year, proceeds of the game will go to the family of Ryan Magnetta to help care for their son. I happen to know the family. My daughter plays with their daughter in soccer. So Ryan's a great kid. I just couldn't be perfect. I will be playing in a game. I know everybody out there in this town has big hearts. Let's come out there and let's help this family. Ryan, who's 10 years old, he's been diagnosed with pancreatic disease known as hereditary chronic pancreas. Ryan was diagnosed when he was 5 years old. Over the years, he's been in and out of children's hospitals in New Jersey, University of Minnesota Children's Hospital, and Boston's Children's Hospital, receiving care. He has undergone multiple procedures and lives with a feeding tube on a daily basis. His pain is discomfort and constant, as every homeowner out there would, you've got to feel it. Ryan's parents are facing tasked with dealing with their amount of medical debt and continues to decrease on each passing day. We like to help Ryan and his family. So again, I urge you, March 27th, 2015, the game is going to be held at the Brick Township High School East Gym, Friday, again, March 27th at 7:30. Tickets can be advanced at the door. The cost is $3 per adult, $2 per student. Seating is limited, don't worry about it. Everybody show up. 90,000 people in this town, I expect everybody to be there. So arrive early. Donations can be made to the PBA Local 230. It's Post Office Box 1067, Brick, New Jersey, 08723. I will repeat that again. Donations can be sent to the PBA Local 230, Post Office Box 1067, Brick, New Jersey, 08723. You can reach out to Officer Nilsson. Checks be made payable to Helping Hands Fund. Further information, contact Richard Nilsson Jr. or Officer Robert Selfco, 732-262-1100, or Detective Greg Monarchy at 732-262-1122. Let's get together. Let's help this family in need. I know everybody can send. I know everybody has helping hands out there. It's a Friday night. Bring family, bring friends, tell your neighbors. It's a great game, and it's going for a great cause. Again, that's March 27th, 7:30, cross street at the Brick Dragons East Gym. And other than that, climate weather is approaching us. Please, everybody drive carefully, be safe, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman?
Thank you. I was with the mayor at both the basketball playoffs and the Rudy Awards. I would like to congratulate the parents and the players in the BMAC Recreation League for a great season. Profusely thank the coaches, because with almost 1,000 children, it would not be possible to run a league like that without the volunteer coaches. So I want to thank them all for what they do, for the time that they donate. A lot of times that's time that's away from their own families. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without them. So thank you very much to the BMAC coaches. And I also want to thank the rec department for running a great program that impacts so many of our children and families every year. I was also at the mock trial competition. I enjoyed it immensely. I would reiterate what the mayor said. It was very, very close. I said to him, while the judges were deliberating, I would not want to be making this decision, because the students were so incredibly well prepared. I would hire any one of them to represent me if I were in need of legal services. No offense, counselor. None to my brother-in-law.
What are you
who's
saying,
also an attorney.
Andrea?
All right. I just offended a lot of people. They were wonderful. And next year, I'd encourage everyone to come out and watch, because it was really very, very well done. Our cultural arts brochure for 2015 is now available. Copies are outside on the dais. They're also at the recreation office. The first concert is next Wednesday, March 11th, 7 p.m. at Civic Plaza. It's being presented in partnership with Guild Theater Works, which is formerly the Brick Community Players. They're presenting 3 singing sensations. There is a $10 donation requested at the door, but you get the show and free refreshments. There are a number of events on the bill for this year that run from this month through December. We'll pick up and include some outdoor events, some indoor events. So I'd urge you to pick up a copy of this, either here at the Recreation Department. And I want to thank Carol Smith and the Recreation Department for once again putting together an outstanding season. And then finally, I got an email from the Garden Club. They are doing a membership drive, and they're reaching out to the public. There are, their March 9th meeting will be at the Bob Anstad Cultural Arts Center on Herbertsville Road, starting at 7 o'clock, and it's open to anyone who might be interested in joining or participating. They're going to be showing a PowerPoint presentation called The Secret Gardens of Brick, which is a collage of photos from the past gardener show, past garden tours, and they will also have master gardeners on hand to answer all your questions. So I know we're all still shoveling snow, but spring is right around the corner, so if you have a green thumb or want to have a green thumb, please reach out to the Garden Club. And for more information, you can contact Dan at 732-920-8231. He is the membership chair for the Brick Garden Club. And again, that's March 9th at the Cultural Arts Center at 7 p.m. And everyone get home safely. It's icy outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman?
Thank you. I'm finally used to calling my name as third in position. So it just took me, 2 months? Again, I want to touch on the Green Fair. Chairman Hypantis of the Sustainable Brick Committee came in earlier. In case you missed it, he gave us a brief overview with the Green Fair and the Sustainable Brick Committee. It's something that's near and dear to me. I've been on it for a few years, and we've gotten a lot of great work done through that committee. I want to tell you about the Green Fair early and often so you can make plans to come out. Again, it's April 18th at the Brick Township High School. And it gets better and better every year, especially this year. We're having lots of student and community involvement through the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, other committees, as well as different clubs from the high schools. I just want to mention that Sustainable Brick, it's all volunteers like many of our committees, and they work really hard to push our community forward, improve our quality of life here, and get some really great projects done in town that can help us maybe become sustainable down in the far future. And of course, I want to thank every volunteer here in town, you know, the different coaches and on the committees and everything, because all the work that you do really improves our community. The budget presentations, they're really important. I see your faces out there, and I know they could be a little tedious, but we do it to inform the public and the citizens here in Brick how their tax dollars are being spent, what responsibilities are spread throughout the different departments here in town. And, you know, watching council meetings at other towns, there's really no other towns that do that give the public the opportunity to come out and ask questions of the department heads and really learn about how our budget works and where the dollars are going and why. So I want to say thank you to our township planner, our township engineer, and our construction code official for putting all of that information together for us. And I too was able to participate in, you know, reading day. And I went to Emma Havens Young. I have a son there in 3rd grade in Miss Barco's class. And it was really great because I'm reading this book, and one of the students raised their hands, and he's like, my dad's an author, and he wrote a book, and I have it. So it was a really long book, but we cracked it open, and it was so great to see students interested in books and reading as opposed to, you know, video games and, you know, other things that keep their minds off learning. So, you know, I want to give a shout out to all those teachers and the people that put that program together. It's really important, and it's great for us to get out and reach out to the students and the teachers in the schools and go there and see what's going on and talk to the kids. And, you know, I had the opportunity to talk to some of the kids about what they liked about our town, some things they didn't like about our town. And it gives you a new perspective because you're used to talking to adults all day, and you don't talk to the kids who are residents here, and they're going to grow up here and raise their families here. So it's great planning tools down the line to hear what they think and to hear what they want. And of course, be careful because this winter is killing me. I don't believe you that spring is coming. Hopefully it'll clear up in time for all the great golf tournaments in the spring. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman?
Thank you, Council President. On February 20th, I attended a PBA dinner along with the mayor and other council members to honor the achievements by police officers and civilians during 2014. Congratulations to all the recipients for those awards. On February 23rd, I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Red Robin Restaurant, and I wish them all the much success. On February 25th, I attended the heroin addiction seminar. which was a 4-hour seminar in Tinton Falls. There are many topics. The main topic was prevention. Councilwoman Zapsik attended as well. The mission to increase awareness among county residents of heroin and prescription drug abuse and the devastating effects on our community, such as locking up prescriptions in your home rather than leaving them in the medicine cabinets, school programs, prescription drug drop-offs, creating awareness campaign to help educate residents. A lot of the stuff we are doing right now, and about programs and resources available to prevent and treat addiction, supporting the creation of additional resources to treat and prevent addiction to heroin and prescription drugs. The discussion went on to include that the fact that the state is lacking in treatment centers. One township actually has an advocate who sits in their municipal court to help offenders get into a house for treatment. I'm waiting for paperwork from that township to see how they operate and what do they do. That same day, I attended with Mayor Ducey at 4 o'clock the session updating the flood insurance rate maps in Toms River. If you missed the meeting, you could obtain the same information at www.region2coastal.com. And you can get that on the website and you can pop them right up on there. On February 28th, I attended along with Mayor Ducey and Councilwoman Zapsik the Rudio Basketball Awards at the Vets Middle School. Awards there were presented and the games were played by the children, and congratulations to all again. Information session will be held Monday, March 9th, 2015, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Tri-Borough First Aid Squad, 61 J Street, Seaside Park. That is to provide individualized hands-on help to enable and the RAM participants to navigate the program's process. That's the REM program. So that's going to be on March 9th, 4 to 7 at the Tri-Borough First Aid Squad in Seaside Park. Also have a little more recycling news. I know everybody's anxious to hear about that. Effective Tuesday, March 3rd, the Township of Brick will offer curbside collection of rigid plastics to residents. Collection will be on an on-demand basis every Tuesday. So you're going to have to call up and put your stuff out by the curb, and they will come pick it up. Providing this additional recycling service to our community not only reduces the amount of garbage generated, but also helps conserve valuable resources and betters the environment. Just to give you a little rundown of what type of plastics they're looking for. Plastic bucket seats are metal with metal handles. You got plastic milk and soda crates, plastic laundry baskets, plastic lawn furniture, your plastic totes, any size, even with metal. Plastic dish drains, plastic toys and playhouses, plastic car seats, plastic pet carriers, pallets, closet organizers, as long as they're plastic, traffic signs, as long as they're plastic, empty garbage cans, computer housings, automotive plastics, bumpers, you got pickup truck bed liners, plastic shelving. Residents wishing to schedule a rigid plastics collection should call 732-451-4060. Rigid plastics would also be brought down to the Township Recycling Center. That's on 836 Ridge Road, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I'd like to thank Carol Wolf for her presentation of Homes, Check for Them Homes Now. They do a great job over there, and I believe she was the founder of the Homes Now, and she does a great job with those buildings every year. And also John Hyphenis for the Sustainable Brick Township. Thank you for your presentation. Also Land Use, Lissa Cummings Engineering, Michael Fowler Planning, and Dan Newman Building. And I also would like to touch on the landlord rental responsibility. I think this is one step further that the town can go, and I just can't wait this is implemented. And we also did go out with the building department. They did send out letters to landlords that they should register. Some of the people started registering, so that give them a little heads up of what's going on, that we're serious about this. We want you to register, get a CO for your apartment or condo or home, whatever you're renting. And I hope this really does help out, and I know the chief's got a lot of work to do with this one new ordinance here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Council President. First, I want to thank Carol Wolf for all of her work that she's done throughout the years, not just for the presentation for tonight, but for the work she's done throughout many, many, many years of service, and also John Haifantis. Is that the way you say it? Haifantis. I said it right. Both of which show the best of our community, which is people who are willing to give back to the community to make it better. In the same vein, I want to thank Mayor Ducey for supporting this wonderful ordinance that we have done on first reading tonight, the landlord rental responsibility ordinance. It takes a lot of chutzpah to put a ordinance like this into effect. And I also want to thank our township attorneys for diligently going through the ordinance, because it was very well drafted. And I hope to see many more ordinances in the future that are going to help our town maintain its safety, help the people in not only Maple Leaf, but also in other areas of Brick maintain their safety, and also help our police to do the great job that they've been doing. On that vein, we want to thank our Chief of Police, Chief Berquist. We saw on Shore Beat, Daniel Nee, we saw on Shore Beat that we had a beautiful drug takedown that makes me so happy and excited. And I learned tonight from Chief Berkowitz that it was a patrol arrest who actually smelled marijuana and then placed them under arrest and found all kinds of other wonderful drugs. So this person is not on our streets anymore or in our community anymore. Thank you to Chief Berkowitz and our wonderful police force. They don't get enough credit for doing the job that they do. Neither does Daniel Nee for reporting the good parts of what our police force do, because we have a wonderful police force in Brick. I now know what Jim Fosman was saying for all these years, saying, I hate sitting in the seat because I have nothing to say, but I so do. The only thing I wanted to say to you was, please remember my niece, Domenica Nicole. She's 3 months old, and she's still hanging on to life. She is paralyzed from the neck down, and she is on a feeding tube and a ventilator. So any prayers that anyone can offer would be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, remember your senior neighbors. When we have so strong of a belief that we have to keep our sidewalks clean from the kids, that means that we have our senior neighbors to watch out for too. So maybe send your kids out to clean your senior neighbors' driveway so that they can get to school. I don't know, I don't think it's a bad idea. I did it when I was younger. What are you saying?
You're pointing at me when you say
Pointing right
senior
at me.
neighbors.
Little bit,
Oh, yeah.
little bit, little bit. But that would be a great thing for all of us to do. It's all about working together as a community to make Brick better. So anything that we can do for our seniors, for our children, for all populations of our community helps everyone. So ask your neighbor down the road if they need their driveway shoveled or their sidewalk shoveled. You know, you give your kid $10, they think they've won $1 million, and I send my 7-year-old out to shovel. I know, is that wrong? Don't tell anyone about that. Thank you and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Vice President?
Yes. I also went to the Read Across America Day at Emma Havens. I want to thank Kristen McDermott. She's the one who sets it all up for us, and every year has a great turnout. I think it's 9:30, 9:30, 10, 10:30. She has a ton of people from our community, and it's really great to get to interact with the class. I want to say hi to Mrs. Wilson's 5th grade class, and I want to thank Rachel, who escorted me to and from her class. It was really a great opportunity to get to talk to the kids and find out what they think about our town. I also that day attended Mrs. Bozzard's kindergarten class over at the Warren Wolf School, so I want to thank them for having me, and it was great. Mrs. Bozzard is very good friends with my mother, and she had a book that was mine from when I was a little girl that I got to read to the class, so it was really, really fun and special. Thank you also to Michael, Dan, and Alyssa for coming out and giving us the budget presentation. I couldn't put it any better than Councilwoman Lydecker did, that it's really important for us as a council and for our residents to hear about our budgets and what exactly our departments use the money that we raise through our taxes for the services that we're able to give them. The mayor, administration, land use committee, public safety committee, our township attorney, awesome job on the ordinance. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we as a town can diligently put forth this and just make Brick better and be able to help our residents live a better life and to have neighbors. And as Councilwoman Pontarera said, be neighborly. Have your kids go out and shovel the sidewalk, talk to them, see how they're doing. If people haven't seen, I think 2 Sundays ago, the Asbury Park Press front page had an article about the Buy in Brick program. It's not called Buy in Brick in other towns. It was focused a lot on Marlborough, which was the first town it was implemented in. I think this is the 3rd or 4th year that Marlborough has had the Shop Marlborough program. And the mayor was quoted in it, and it really just expresses everything that we want to do as a town. We want to lower your property taxes, and we want to help our small businesses and have more people try the different restaurants that they haven't tried. I know I've tried a couple more. I've tried a couple different services. We have carpet cleaners, dry cleaners, the run of the gamut. We also have a new Buy in Brick business. It is Air, Land, and Sea Environmental Managers Services. So that's something different that I would never have expected to join the Buy in Brick program. Also, we are doing our big advertising push for Buy in Brick. We recently had a tourism commission meeting, which that money allows us to put forth advertising. We're going to be advertising, I think, Asbury Park Press, the Value Pack, and signs around town. With the tourism money, we have to have it outside Brick advertising, and that other people who don't live in Brick see that. So it is going to cost our taxpayers nothing to put forth all of that for our residents. Also, in the bills, the tax bills that we just put out and on our resolution, there will be a Buy in Brick insert explaining to residents and telling them where they can come and get the cards. And if there's any businesses or merchants or anything out there in the town that are interested in joining Buy in Brick, now is the time, because we will be doing this big advertising push, and we want to make sure your name is on the signs, on the Value Pack, on the Asbury Park Press. We don't want anyone to miss it by a day or two. I believe the end of the month is when we're going to be going to print and turning everything in. So I really encourage any residents that are interested, if they have any questions, they can always contact me. They can contact administration. We will be able to answer any and all questions on Buy in Brick. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Vice President. I'll be short and sweet. About 40 minutes, I'll be done. I had a pleasure today to go with the mayor to IHOP for they do a great job. If you didn't make it there this year, try to make it next year. It was great because we got to actually meet some of the families that had children. This is Children Miracle Network, and they wanted to take pictures with us, and it was like we wanted to take pictures with them, so it made us really feel good. I'd like to thank Carol Wolf and her assistant Casey from Homes Now, John Afanis for his presentation, Alyssa, Michael, and Dan, great job. They did leave, though, and I did say they needed to stay, but that's okay. Thank everyone for coming out. Please drive safe. Next meeting is March 17th. Everyone, please dress in green, St. Patrick's Day. And I'll call for a motion and a second to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.